10. Genghis Khan, 1162–1227. Mongolia was ruled by Genghis Khan from 1206 to 1227. His ferocious nature resulted in thousands deaths as well as many wins, including the conquest of a sizable portion of China. If they ran out of water, it is said that his troops would suck the blood from their horses. 15 million people were murdered by his armies on the Iranian plateau. Between 20 and 60 million people perished during his rule. It is still unknown how he passed away. 9. Leopold the Ironed of Belgium. He ruled over the Congo Free State, which was around 76 times the area of Belgium when he was king. He convinced everyone in the world that he was going to aid Congo. But from 1885 to 1908, during his rule, the nation experienced a reign of terror. 500,000 people died through diseases, and many more from famine. He murdered more than 10 million Congolese, or half of the country's population. 8. Ivan the Terrible. Ivan was the first Tsar of Russia. As a kid, he used to throw animals from the top of tall structures. Though he was intelligent, he had bouts of rage due to mental illness. During one, he even killed his own heir to the throne. He loved impaling, beheading, burning, strangling, frying, blinding and disemboweling people. Even in friends, he saw his enemies. In the Novgorod massacre, more than 60,000 people were tortured to death. 7. Idi Amin. Idi Amin, who was the chief of army staff, had taken control of Uganda while President Obote had gone to Singapore to attend a meeting. He promised to bring prosperity to Uganda. But a week later, he declared himself president of Uganda. As dictator, he came to be known as the Butcher of Uganda. He killed people by feeding them to crocodiles, claimed he was a cannibal, mutilated one of his wives and rearranged her limbs. He killed and tortured around 500,000 people between 1971 to 1979 as ruler. He died of natural causes. 6. Saddam Hussein. He ruled Iraq as dictator from 1979 to 2003. He authorized innumerable assaults on people while in power. Not less than 2 million deaths were caused by his policies. He gave instructions for chemical attacks, eye-poking, beatings, and brutal shocks. In order to see them afterwards, he also videotaped a number of tortures and murders. Saddam was hung in 2006 after being convicted guilty of crimes against humanity. 5. Heinrich Himmler. He oversaw the SS and was the driving force behind the liquidation of all Jews in Europe as the final solution to the Jewish question. About 6 million Jews, 2 to 5 million Russians, and numerous other groups that the Nazis deemed unworthy of life had been killed on Himmler's orders. 4. Pol Pot. The Khmer Rouge, a revolutionary organization from Cambodia that had planned the genocide there, was led by Pol Pot. In order to establish a new government and usher in a new era, Pol Pot thought it necessary to wipe off the Cambodian civilization. He is likely the first leader in history to have given the command to commit mass genocide in his own nation. From 1976 to 1979, when he served as prime minister, 2 million people, or 25% of the populace, died as a result of his actions. 3. Vlad the Impaler. Vlad Dracula was another name for Vlad the Impaler. Due to Vlad's sadistic demeanor and terrible treatment of the people of Wallachia, where he served as prince 3 times between 1448 and 1462 and killed nearly 20% of the population, the character of Dracula was partially modeled on him. He pierced the victim's buttocks with a stake till the blade emerged from his mouth. 2. Joseph Stalin. From 1922 until his passing in 1953, Iosif Vissarionovich Stalin served as the Soviet Union's autocratic leader. He was a murderer and a robber in his youth. He ruled the Soviet Union with terror and violence for 30 years. His choices caused a famine that claimed millions of lives. He not only murdered families of his admirers, but also his foes. He easily slaughtered nearly 20 million people, and throughout his reign, more than 1.5 million German women were sexually assaulted. 1. Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler, who led the Nazi Party as its leader and served as Germany's chancellor from 1933 to 1945, was one of history's most cunning, inventive, and violent tyrants. The Second World War and the Holocaust were entirely his fault. He set out to eradicate Jews because he thought they were the source of all issues. In the wake of his acts, more than 50 million people died.